Hey, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast right here for the 24th of June, 2013. Lots of things going on. I wanted to put a little podcast together and give you some information that I hope you find useful. A little program note. The views expressed live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. freeamericaradio.us is where you can hear that show. And email me if you have any questions, comments, concerns. It doesn't matter. Ask me anything you like. I'm more than happy to answer any question you have. I don't know it all, and I'll tell you if I know or don't know something. So email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. So, yes, the website, freeamericaradio.us. Check that out. Certain things are going to be changing, and I say that every so often during the shows, the views expressed live, and this one as well. The Free America Radio Network is changing, but slowly. It's not going to be overnight, so you're not going to see drastic changes. So, we're going to be sticking around for quite some time, sharing with you the truth, one fact at a time. And again, folks, I want to make sure that you get as much information as you can. So like I said, I don't know it all, and the information that I give you is what's out there in not only the alternative independent media, but also the mainstream state-run media, and I tell you exactly what's going on, how it's going on, why I believe it's going on. And I pretty much, tear away the curtain and reveal to you who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. And there's a lot of reasons why, certain things are happening. There's a lot of reasons why people are ignoring it. And unfortunately, it just gets to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. I remember that back when I was in my mid-20s. I was going through a whole lot of stuff at that time. Of course, we all do, and my life is probably no worse than anybody else's at that point. But the proverbial rug was pulled out from underneath me, and reality hit me in the face. And, it pretty much rocked my world at that point, and I had to change the way I was doing things. And literally, I didn't allow my environment to control me anymore. And when I saw what was behind the veil, what was going on, it really changed the way that I see things and the way that I live. So, I hope that encourages some. If some people want to ignore it and say, whatever, you're going to ignore the obvious to your own demise. If you're not ready, willing, and able to stand up to your own fallacies and faults and break free of those preconditioned environmental elements that have suppressed you up to this point, then life's not going to be an enjoyable thing for you. I'm just letting you know that right now. I've been there in multiple stages. But I pulled out of it because you can't go over your problems, you can't go around your problems, you can't go under your problems. You got to go through them. I'll be back right after this. Listen to the views expressed live on freeamericaradio.us or on Spreaker.com, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific. And check out Free America Radio on Facebook. For more information, email us at freeamericaradio@usa.com. For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Hey folks, welcome back to the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. I gotta get some sounds adjusted here, some of the sound levels and all of that good stuff. Good, you can hear me, yay. It's all right. Hey, a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, a lot of things are changing, even for Free America Radio Network. It's okay. It's all right. We're not going away. Hey, it's Tuesday, the 24th of June, 2014, and it's one of those things, folks. You know, when you look out amongst the living, you probably are not too surprised that, well, that things are happening the way they are. Okay. Now, when you look at what is happening, and you look at this Veterans Affairs situation going on, the Veterans Affair, you know, the hospitals and all that these people are going to, they're completely upside down and are in a complete mess. Okay? Now, over at CNN.com, they're reporting records of, their headline is, VA deaths covered up to make statistics look better, whistleblowers say, or whistleblower says. And this was written by Scott Bronstein, Drew Griffin, and Nellie Black over at CNN, who investigated this, and it was updated today. Records of dead veterans were changed or physically altered, some even in recent weeks, to hide how many people died while waiting for care at the Phoenix VA hospital, a whistleblower told CNN in stunning revelation that point to a new cover-up in the ongoing VA scandal. Quote-unquote deceased notes on files were removed to make statistics look better, so veterans would not be counted as having died while waiting for care. Pauline DeWinter said. DeWinter should know. DeWinter is the actual scheduling clerk at the Phoenix VA, who said for the better part of a year she was ordered by supervisors to manage and handle the so-called quote-unquote secret waiting list, where veterans' names of those seeking medical care were often placed, sometimes left for months, with no care at all. I'm putting this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, and also on the Free America Radio Facebook page. And I will be talking about that later today. I'll probably read the whole article later today on the Views Express Live, and 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And this whole situation with the VA is just, it's totally and absolutely corrupt. It is. It is devastating and really horrific that we would treat our veterans in this fashion. It is something that I don't like. I'm pissed off by it. Here's a novel idea, folks. Here's a novel idea. Let's vote for this, shall we? Anybody at retirement age that is getting Social Security or Social Security disability at a younger age, or anyone under 18, including veterans who are in and veterans who have been processed out, discharged from the military, on good standing, should get all of their medical for free. Every last bit of it. Medical, dental, and vision. All of it should be free. But who's going to pay for it? You know, glasses cost, operations cost. What part of free do you not understand? What part of charity care do you not understand? If the illegal aliens that are just, you know, running roughshod over our borders and just coming over here in droves get everything for free, why can't we, who were born and raised right here in the United States of America? I've never understood that. Even the ones who have served this country in wars and foreign wars mostly wars that have taken our military out of this country, not protecting it and leaving us vulnerable, those people, those military personnel should get all of their medical, dental, vision free, period, end of sentence. That's it. Now, why don't we push for that? I mean, we yell and scream at football and basketball games. We call up shows like American Idol and you know, all this, Dancing with the Stars, the whole 9 yards. Why don't we get that passionate about our veterans? Why don't we get that passionate about, well, about our military? We have a Marine that is sitting in a Mexican jail right now because the Department of Homeland Security and the military were going to, but the Mexican military said, no, we want him. And they just let him go. Our people just said, yeah, okay, take him, go ahead. We need to round him up. We need to get the military in this country, National Guard, citizens, militia, whatever you want to get, go across that border, go into that jail with thousands of military personnel and say, we're taking our Marine back, and if you don't like it, you're going to have to fight tens of thousands of military and civilian militia if you disagree with us. That would not look good on the international arena, would it? That wouldn't look good for the UN, would it? So the bottom line is we need to give anybody under 18 and anybody who is on Social Security disability, anybody in the military that's been discharged with good standing, anybody that's over or has retired with Social Security, all of their medical, dental, and vision should be absolutely 100% free, period. All of it. Well, that's socialism. You're giving stuff away for free. The illegal aliens jump the border, walk over the border, drive over the border, whatever, and expect us to give it to them free. We need to take care of our own first and foremost. Period. And, by the way, concerning the border, there's busloads of people going into Phoenix. Busloads of illegal aliens, some who are legal because they said they want amnesty, they're political asylum is what they say. Political asylum. And most of them are from Central America, not from Mexico. And so they just drop them off here. They process them through, blah, 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 all that. They drop them off, and they're homeless. And they're trying to do whatever they need to do. Excuse me? When did we become the world's babysitters? No. Close the damn border now. But not after we get, Sergeant Tamarisi out of that Mexican jail. Get him out, bring him back to the U.S., close the damn border, period. Oh, you're a racist. You want the border closed. No. I'm for legal immigration. Anybody that wants to come over here, that's fine. You do it legally. But you see, here's the thing. Concerning this border crisis, as Washington, D.C. calls it. Here's the thing. The reason why they want the borders open, there's a lot of reasons, and I can name 3 of them. 1, voters, period. Number 2, overwhelm the system. Cloward and Piven. And 3, so that those who control those borders, those who control the fact that these people come over here can have their excuses and their reasoning, as stupid and as ignorant as it is to the nth degree, to take our weapons so that you and I cannot protect ourselves from enemies foreign and domestic. That's only one of them. That's only one of the reasons why. Okay? Or that's three of the reasons why. That's part of it. The other reason why they want to open the borders, I believe, is that they want to shove their hand in the face of the United States citizens and say, we don't give a crap about what you want. We're going to do this anyway. In other words, folks, your votes don't count on a national level. Locally, they may, depending. But on national levels, no, your votes don't count. You can vote. You can have 200 million people vote to close the borders, and guess what? Washington, D.C. goes, screw it. We're going to keep them open. So your votes don't count. Look at even some of your statewide votes, your statewide elections. Look at that. I'm born and raised in Stockton, California, and we had a local voting. Well, not local. It was, propositions, that kind of thing. Midterm. That's what it was. We had these elections. And you've heard of Proposition 209 and 187. Have you heard of those out of California? Go look them up. California Propositions 187 and 209. Go look it up. If you would, please, thank you. I don't want to tell you what to do, but if you want to, go ahead and look them up. They were passed in incredible numbers. It was passed. And if you don't know what 187 is, Proposition 187, it's been now, quite a few years. And I remember living there. California Proposition 187. This is what Wikipedia says. Also known as Save Our State Initiative, was a 1994 ballot initiative to establish a state-run immigration status screening system and prohibit undocumented immigrants from using health care, public education, and other social services in the U.S. state of California. Voters passed the proposed law as an initiative in November of 1994. The law was challenged in a legal suit and found unconstitutional by a federal court in 1999. Governor Gray Davis halted state appeals against the ruling. Passage of Proposition 187 reflected state residents' concern about unauthorized immigration into the United States and the large Hispanic population in California. Opponents believe the law was discriminatory against immigrants of Hispanic or Asian origin. Supporters generally insisted that their concerns were economic, that the state could not afford to provide social services for so many undocumented residents. Let me read the first part of that again, okay, folks? I'm going to highlight this and put this on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay, now, pardon me, I got some stuff going on there in my sinuses. Now, let me post this other stuff here. Let me read that first part again, and I'll break it down for you. California Proposition 187, also known as Save Our State Initiative, was a 1994, 20 years ago, folks, ballot initiative to establish a state-run immigration status screening system and prohibited undocumented immigrants from using health care, public education, and other social services in the U.S. state of California. Voters passed the proposed law as an initiative in November of 1994. The law was challenged in a legal suit and found unconstitutional. Now get this, by a federal court. In 1999, Gray Davis halted state appeals against the ruling. In other words, people wanted that Save Our State initiative, Proposition 187, passed it, made it a law, and the court said it was unconstitutional, and the appeals began to flow, and Gray Davis went, no, we're not going to appeal it. The appeals have stopped. He halted them. He put his hand up. He put a giant stop sign up to those opponents. Okay? To the appeals. They appealed it. They said, wait. We're going to appeal this. You shot it down. We're going to appeal this. Gray Davis went, no, you're not. And stopped it. California is a fascist state. It is no longer part of the United States of America as a whole. We now have 49 states. California is now done. It is now taken over by the far-left liberal loons and fascists in California, including Jerry Brown. Oh, by the way, let me make another note. We now have 48 states. New York State is now a fascist, dictatorial state, unfriendly to business and people. Yeah, I said it. What are you going to do about it? Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Now, what's Proposition 209? California Proposition 209, also known as the California Civil Rights Initiative, or CCRI, is a California ballot proposition which, upon approval in November of 1996, amended the state constitution to prohibit state governmental institutions from considering race, sex, or ethnicity, specifically in the areas of public employment, public contracting, and public education. Modeled on the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the California Civil Rights Initiative was authored by two California academics, Dr. Glenn Custard and Dr. Tom Wood. It was the first electoral test of affirmative action policies in America. The political campaign to place the language of CCRI on the California ballot as a constitutional amendment was initiated by Joel Gelman, president of the Board of Civil Service Commissioners of the City of Los Angeles, Arnold Steinberg, a pollster and political strategist, and Dr. Larry Arnn, president of Claremont Institute. It was later endorsed by Governor Pete Wilson and supported and funded by the California Civil Rights Initiative campaign led by University of California Regent Ward Connolly, a Wilson ally. A key co-chair of the campaign was law professor Gail Harriet, who served as a member of the United States Commission on Civil Rights. The initiative was opposed to affirmative action advocates and traditional civil rights and feminist organizations on the left of the political spectrum. Proposition 209 was voted into law November 5, 1996, with 54% of the vote and has withstood legal scrutiny ever since. In November of 2006, a similar amendment modeled on the California's Proposition 209 was passed in Michigan, titled the Michigan Civil Rights Initiative. The constitutionality of the Michigan Civil Rights Initiative was challenged in the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. The case made its way to the United States Supreme Court. On April 22, 2014, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 6-2 that the Michigan Civil Rights Initiative is constitutional and that states had a right to ban the practice of racial and gender preferences affirmative action if they chose to do so through the electoral process. On December 3rd, 2012, California State Senator Edward Hernandez introduced California Senate Constitutional Amendment Number 5 in the state Senate. This initiative proposed an amendment to the state constitution to remove provisions of California Proposition 209 related to public post-secondary education to permit state universities to consider applicants' race, gender, color, ethnicity, and national origin in admission decisions. SCA 5 was passed by the California State Senate on January 30th, 2014. However, following resistance from various citizens groups, especially Asian American groups, Senator Hernandez withdrew his measure from consideration, and further action will not be considered in the California Assembly. I don't know, folks. I mean, I'm at a point where we have people, and that was, those are the two propositions. Let me, I didn't copy and paste, okay. Let me go there again and put this on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. And put that on there so you guys can read it for yourself, okay? Excuse me, a little something going on there. People have this idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, that when we vote for something and it passes, that's just the way it is. It passes, it's law, and that's the way it's going to be, right? I mean, we do have that thought, right? It is there, right? Then why is it there's opposition? I propose this, and you can disagree or get pissed off all you want. Anybody opposing the majority vote that passes a proposition or a law or a bill into law and makes it that, in other words, Proposition 187, when voters vote and win, I believe anybody in opposition should not be able to even function as a political organization under tax-exempt status. Okay, but people are going to argue with me all day long about that. Show me the positive end of your opposition. There is none. There is none. If I was in the city hall, if I was in the city council or the county board of supervisors, and I said, I have a proposal. Here's this proposal. When anybody comes into our county, we need to make sure that they're not criminals. We need to make sure that they are not criminals. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, when they register for a driver's license, when they whatever they need to do, register for DMV, get their car tagged or whatever. We need to vet them to the fullest extent the law will allow so we know that they are not criminals. And if they are criminals, we're going to require them to go to either a probation officer or to the local authorities and say, I've committed a crime in this other county. I just want you to be aware of it. All that's taken care of. Here's this. Here's my information. I paid my dues to society. I don't plan on doing it anymore. If I propose that type of situation, would that not be something positive? Well, I would think so. But the opponents to that, the people opposing that, would say, well, that's against his constitutional rights of freedom and privacy and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to save people in the county by letting them know who the criminal was in another county, another part of the United States that's moving here, so you people will be aware of it. I'm proposing this, and you're trying to shoot it down? I'm trying to keep you safe, and you're shooting that down. No pun intended, but you see where I'm going with that? You understand where that is? You understand how that works? I know, it's just a analogy. I'll be back right after this. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. The people of the world are bound by the collective mindset of the true controllers of the United States of America and the rest of the world. The chains of tyranny are being tightened around the liberties and freedoms of free societies. It is the obligation and the duty of those that seek to adhere to the principles of our founding fathers to defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights from enemies, foreign and domestic. We, the people, have the power. We have the ability to change the direction of our lives. We have the ability to get the word out to others that we must rise, stand, and defend our families and friends from the onslaught of the leaders that want tyranny in the United States of America. We, the people, have the power. We are America. The views expressed, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Spreaker.com. Hey folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show for the 24th of June, 2014. Yeah, do you guys ever have so much going on in your head that you forget what day it was, and what your name is, and how to tie your shoes? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway. Yeah. Do you ever put your laundry in the dishwasher and the milk in the hamper? I mean, it's just, I'm just saying, it's one of those, one of those days. Anyway, I'm glad I can laugh because most people can't, you know? So, there you go. I don't know, folks, man. I'm telling you. Drudge Report. Border mess. Homeland underwear crises. Urgently needed 42,000 pair. Well, they should have thought about that beforehand. Russia test fires 6 new air-launched cruise missiles. Let's take a look at that, shall we? From freebeacon.com. I'm going to put this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show and the Free America Radio Facebook page. Russia tests fires 6 new air-launched cruise missiles. Putin orders military exercises amid new Ukraine tensions. Bill Gertz wrote this at freebeacon.com. Thank you, Bill. Matter of fact, let me do this now. Hey, while I'm sharing this in the main feed, of course, and also on the other 2 pages I mentioned, the Wayne S. Pierce Show and the Free America Radio Facebook pages, okay? Let me give you a little something here, a little promotion. Free to excuse me. Eastland Radio Repertory Theater, yes, is looking for you. If you're a voice actor or want to do, radio plays, old-time radio-type radio plays, if you're interested in doing that, your voices can be heard in various stages, Anyway, yes, I am a voice actor, voiceover artist, I should say, as well. So if you want to hire me, that's cool. Eastland Radio Repertory Theater needs your help in putting together radio plays. Yes, radio-style, old-time radio-style radio plays. And needs your help. Mainly voices. So if you have voice clips that you want to send to me or certain experiences that you have, please send them to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com, Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com, and your voice can be heard. Back to Free America Radio. Freebeacon.com. Russia test fires 6 new air-launched cruise missiles. Putin orders military exercises amid new Ukraine tensions. Bill Gertz wrote this, posted today, the 24th of June, 2014. Thank you, Bill, over at freebeacon.com. Russian strategic air forces fired 6 new precision strike cruise missiles in test launches Friday amid new tensions between Moscow and the West over the crisis in Ukraine. Russia Defense Minister announced Friday that the missile firings took place during exercises involving 8 Tu-95 Bear bombers, the same type of strategic bomber recently intercepted 50 miles off of California coast by U.S. jets. Russian bombers, meanwhile, continued saber-rattling air defense zone incursions against Canada's Arctic and in Europe over the Baltic Sea. On Monday, Russia's defense minister, Sergei Shoigu, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, Sorry, Sergei. The defense minister announced that Russian military forces had announced a large-scale surprise readiness exercise that was ordered by Russian President Vladimir Putin. President Obama discussed the Ukraine crisis with Putin by phone on Monday and urged the Russian leader and separatist rebels to implement a peace plan proposed by the Ukrainian government. Quote, the president called upon President Putin to press the separatists to recognize and abide by a ceasefire and to halt the flow of weapons and material across its border into Ukraine, unquote, the White House said in a statement. Russia also announced last week it will deploy Tu-160 strategic bombers to neighboring Belarus, a key Moscow ally, for a military celebration. The new cruise missile was not further identified by the ministry statement, other than being described as a, quote, new high-precision, unquote, guided cruise missile. Now, I'm going to put that up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, like right now, okay? Actually, I already did, didn't I? Let me refresh. Yes, there it is, right there. Russia test fires 6 new air-launched cruise missiles. I gotta say, and I'm going to put this out here, and this is only speculation. I'm not going to go into details as to why I believe this, but I will put this out here because it is important. It's speculation. It's just, there you go. I'm just putting it out here. All right? I believe that there is so much tension in the Middle East that a distraction had to take place over in the Ukraine for Russia to be, well, let's just say, get a little closer to working with those that are allies to them to help oppose American intervention in the Middle East. Again, I'm only speculating. But, and I don't want to get all biblical here with you, but some of the biblical prophecies have said that there were going to be millions and millions of people coming from the north. You know, all of that. There's so many things. Walid Shubat talks about how the Muslims want to take over the world. It's not coming from Europe, some gay German or whatever. Go listen to the Pete Santilli show today. He had Walid Shubat on, so check him out. And when you look at biblical prophecy, quote unquote, you hear of people coming from the north to annihilate Israel. What is Russia and China doing right now? Again, speculation. What is Russia and China doing right now? They're working with their own monetary system to trade between one another. They themselves are propping themselves up. They're both countries that are on the edge of collapse, but they're both propping one another up, right? they're not using the world reserve currency, which is the American dollar. Or they won't be by the end of the year. And that leaves open the possibility that Russia will ally with the Palestinians to give them the weapons to push the Israeli army back. Which, of course, China is also working with the Iranians for their nuclear program. And so here's this huge, massive chess game going on. Who's got the weapons of mass destruction? China and Russia do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at what is happening in the Middle East. Again, speculation. Russia's poised themselves to go against anything that the United States will do in the Middle East. Why? Oil. Not that Russia doesn't have enough to last them a couple of thousand years, but again, you use something against your opponent. I mean, that's pretty much it. In the meantime, here we are in the United States with a system that is being overwhelmed, Cloward and Piven style, and 1984 is happening in the United States. So, what are we doing? What are we doing? I had a great question yesterday, and I asked this on the Views Express Live yesterday. What are you going to do if? What are you going to do if? What are you going to do if? If what? Think about it. The Israelis are being bombed by the Palestinians, basically by Hamas, a terrorist group that is over there. We've got the caliphate happening with all those people that in Syria and Libya, can't remember the name of the group now. You've got all these terrorist groups. Oh, ISIS. You've got all these terrorist groups all over the world, and guess what? Probably a good 60 or more % of them are funded by our own government, by the CIA, by the FBI. I don't want to go off into that deep tangent, but connect the dots. Follow the money. Look where it all is. Can anyone say for sure that our country is not supporting some of these rebels in these areas that are for a more communistic government? Because, again, speculation, that plays right into the hands of Russian President Vladimir Putin, if that's the case. Because then he can look at us, and he's already said this before in a way, but in that speculative notion, he can look at us and go, look, you did this, U.S., now we have no other choice but to retaliate. Okay? This is what's going to happen. Russian President Vladimir Putin tells the American citizens, the citizens of the United States of America, you better hold on to your rights or else you're going to lose them. What kind of foreign prime minister tells the citizens of the United States of America, you better hold on to your rights or you're going to lose them? It's not his exact words, but you get the gist. I've even heard people say, well, why doesn't Vladimir Putin come over here, become a U.S. citizen, and run for president? Well, because our Constitution won't allow that. Prior to 1871. Go look up the Act of 1871. You'll find that we don't live in a United States of America that our founding fathers created and ratified under a Constitution in December of 15th, 1791. We live in a corporation, okay? And the corporation is ruled and run by globalists and global elites, namely the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Not so much the Rockefellers now because it's all been divvied up, but the Rothschilds still have a huge hand in the monetary system in the United States. Hell, the Queen herself can walk right into the White House, sit in the Oval Office, sit in the chair and go, "Mr. President, yeah, sit down, we have something to talk about." "Oh, the Queen Mum. Mr. Obama." Yeah. Prince Charles can walk into the White House and sit in the Oval Office and say, "Mr. President, we got a situation that we need to talk about." Evelyn de Rothschild can sit in the White House in the Oval Office and tell that puppet that he's controlling through his little minions what to do. Get the point? I hope so, because that's exactly what's happening. A lot of people look at me and go, "No, that's not what's happening. Yeah, we have a democracy." But no, folks. Get that out of your head. We don't have a democracy. We have a constitutional republic. That is why I'm going to say this, and I know I don't know too much about this, but I know that people are going to send me hate mail. Not literally, but they're going to send me email trying to correct me on this. And please do, because I don't know too much about this. Constitutional Convention. Think about that one for a minute. We live, or should have lived, in a constitutional republic. That is what we have. That is what the Constitution is. By the way, just a little side note, Walid Shubat said that he read the Declaration of Independence and he said that is Obama's playbook. Exactly what not to do, what the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, what is not supposed to happen is exactly what President Obama is making happen. Okay? So we have to back up and look at the things that we have, and then I hope we assess the situation in such a way to where we make the best decisions for the future and direction of the United States of America. I'm telling you right now, there will be a civil war. Guaranteed. I'll be back right after this.
No elitist dribble, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Shall we play a game?
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? And it was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Entire crops were lost. Some believed that we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. So the perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from. Which is why the Matrix was redesigned to this, the peak of your civilization.
I am wondering, why are you here?
Listen to the views expressed live on freeamericaradio.us or on Spreaker.com, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific. And check out Free America Radio on Facebook. For more information, email us at freeamericaradio@usa.com.
Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey folks, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. How you doing today? It's the 24th of June, 2014. Can you say ugh? Because that is exactly how some people feel when they look around and see what's going on. Now, here's one thing, though, to think about. Is when somebody says there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I would say, yeah, but is it a train? You know, think about that for a minute. Now, as we go, I mentioned his name several times. As we close out this segment of the broadcast, I've mentioned his name several times, and that's Wally Shubat at Shubat.com. Okay? Let me tell you who he is. Let me give you a little background about him. He was used, he says, and I quote from his website, Shubat.com, he says, quote, I used to be a radicalized Muslim willing to die for the cause of jihad until I converted to Christianity in 1994. As a member of the PLO, I was involved in terror activity and was imprisoned in Jerusalem for 3 weeks. In prison, I was recruited to plant a bomb in Bethlehem, as a result of which, thank God, no one was injured. My mother was an American and my father was Palestinian Arab. My parents sent me in 1978 to the United States to study at Loop College in Chicago, Illinois. There I was recruited at a hotel quote-unquote terror conference by Jamal Saeed, a founder of the IAP, or Islamic Association of Palestine, an imam at one of the largest mosques in Chicago. The IAP was a forerunner to today's Hamas terror organization and also to the terror front group CARE, Council for American Islamic Relations. This was in the early 1980s when I was being trained for jihad activities in the U.S. along with many other young foreigners as well as U.S. citizens. The imams were the prime recruiters for terrorism then, as they are still today, and terror conferences are held all over the U.S. to this day. Here is a link to a sample we have on video, which was held in 1989, over 12 years before the 9/11 attacks. I'm putting this website on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page and on the Free America Radio Facebook page. And I seriously want people to know that there's a huge, huge, huge problem facing America today. Huge problem. Massive problem. Okay? And as long as you have as many people opposed to freedom as you do, you're going to have that many people willing to die for a cause. My question to the American public is this: are you willing to die to defend the United States of America from these animals? From these people who actually and factually do not care one freaking bit about your rights or your life? They don't. None of them do. They'll strap a bomb to themselves and walk into a hotel somewhere in USA and blow it up. They don't care. They don't care about your life, your freedoms, or anything of that nature. They don't care. They never have cared, they never will care, because their environment has impinged upon their common sense. Their environment says that anybody that is of American descent, anyone that is American, anyone that is Western, anyone that is wanting freedom or liberty is an enemy of Allah. And they'll stop at nothing to terrorize you, to tear you down, to rip you apart, and to destroy you, because they think their religion should be the only religion around the world. If you don't believe it, go listen to Waleed Shubat on the Pete Santilli show today. I find it incredibly odd. It's just me. I find it incredibly odd that people do not really give a crap about what is happening in the world today. I mean, people look at me and say, I don't want it to ruin my day. No, I don't want to hear any of that because I want my day to be happy. I don't want it ruined. When you don't pay attention to what is happening in your own neighborhood and you do everything you can to prepare yourself, with extra water, extra food, MREs, backpacks, whatever, even ammunition, if you don't prepare yourself, you're done. You're done. Anybody that doesn't listen to me or anybody else saying, get prepared, get prepared, get prepared, is really playing into the hands of the enemy, which usually is going to be the tyrannical government that is running this place. And you are going to be their enemy. Anybody that doesn't do that is dumber than a box of rocks. Anybody that doesn't get prepared, anybody that doesn't step up to the plate to defend your liberties and freedoms is done. You might as well just start packing your stuff, sell what you have, tell the Department of Homeland Security, hey, take me to a FEMA camp somewhere because, I know that's where I'm going to wind up anyway. You are the dumbest person walking on the face of this planet. Okay? You might as well go to the Parks and Recreation Department in San Francisco and tell them, hey, reopen Alcatraz because I'd rather stay there. They won't do that. But you get my point? Now, let me say this. At what point do you realize you have to do something? At what point do you realize something has to be done? And again, I ask the question, what can you do if? What can you do if? Now, I want to say one final thing in closing. You, as my listeners, the general public, you guys go to work every day, you see what's happening, you go take your kids to soccer, ballet, whatever, football practice, baseball practice, whatever it is. You walk around the mall, you take your family there, you buy clothes, you buy shoes, you buy TVs, refrigerators, stoves, whatever. Well, guess what? Think about this. What can you do if? If you weren't able to do any of that, what can you do if? What can you do? What will you do if the malls are closed? You can't go anywhere. Explosions all over the place, whatever it may be. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do when the proverbial rug is pulled out from underneath of you and you do a face plant in the concrete? Using that as a metaphor. What can you do if? Come join me on the Views Expressed live today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the Free America Radio Network, on freeamericaradio.us. Check it out. I'll talk more about this. Folks, I will see you tomorrow. Talk to you tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, right here on the Wayne S. Pierce Show. Have a great day.